What's going on all you gamers? Today we're back with a little bit more Aliens Fireteam Elite, and today what I'm going to do is go over what I believe are some of the best perks in the game for the universal perks. You can unlock these nice and easy by levelling up all the classes, however some seem to be a little bit better than others and can really help out one of those builds that you prefer over the others. So if you'd like to know how to make a strong build and what universal perks tend to work really well in them, then stay tuned, that's coming up next. Welcome back all you guys and girls, as always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, then why not hit that subscribe and bell icon. I'll bring you all the latest and greatest in hints, tips, guides and builds, and just some fun gameplay and reviews of the upcoming games. But for today I'm here to show you the universal perks that I really feel stand out and can really be great in a lot of builds. So here's one I've made earlier, and what I've done, I've chucked in all of the universal perks that I feel work best in most builds. I really find myself using these very often, and I definitely do not mean you should make your build how I've got it on screen, because you're going to want some of your own class specific perks in there. But these may be ones you want to pick from, choose them to your liking and chuck them into your build to make your build a little bit stronger and more versatile. Now, just in case you don't know, universal perks are perks that can be used in any build, however you will need to level up other classes and unlock them in order to put them in any other class's build. So kicking it off, and we start with down range. Now this definitely will not work in every build, but in some builds, if you find yourself using rifles, especially DMR, snipers, anything with a little bit longer range to it, this can be absolutely amazing. It's unlocked via the Recon class, and as you can see, increase your fire distance damage by 20%. In some cases this means your guns can deal more damage at your max range than at close range. If you're using something with substantial damage to it, for example like I said a sniper rifle, this really will help to one-shot most things, especially if you can get that weak point damage on top of it. Won't work with every class, but will definitely work in some builds if you find yourself doing a bit of Overwatch and making sure you're shooting at longer range. Jumping over to the right here, and we've got Surgeon's Hands. You can no longer be stumbled while interacting with objects, reviving allies or using an aid kit. Now just reading this out, it doesn't sound that good, it sounds a little bit lackluster. But if you start feeling that pressure in your team, if your team starts falling over, say for example in later levels or higher difficulties, this can actually be amazing on any class. You'll find yourself a lot easier to pick things up, you'll find that you'll be able to pick up ammo. It's just going to make things a little less frustrating and really nice for a lot of builds. Sometimes it can also mean you really come to the rescue and save the day from a team wipe. This can be acquired through levelling up the Dot class. Just down here, and we've got Down and Out. Now this is a Demolisher perk and is definitely one of the best ones in the game, I feel. You deal 20% more damage to enemies that are stunned or knocked. A lot of the skills in this game actually revolve around doing that, meaning they impair movement in some way, stun, knock, you can get things on your guns. There's a lot of things that go into this game, a lot of teamwork, and 20% damage, especially if you're managing to do it to those elite enemies or the armor types, can really help to take them down fast and make things a little bit easier for your team. An absolutely great perk and works in almost every build. Next up, and we've got a bit of a team based one. This one right here is Keep 'em Pinned, one of the Phalanx perks. Enemies you shoot deal 10% less damage for 4 seconds, does not stack. It may not sound amazing, 10% less damage to everything you're shooting at. As long as you're constantly shooting, it's gonna make everyone's life a little bit easier. Keep 'em Pinned is not the most overwhelming perk in the world, but it is a nice one for making sure that your team survives, and along with a lot of other damage mitigating perks, this can really come in handy and help your team survive those tougher battles. Next up, and we've got Bedside Mana. Again, if you're just going for pure out and out damage, you probably won't want this on. If you're going for playing the really tough difficulties in this, such as extreme or above, you may want someone who has this on, just in case things take a turn for the worst. This is part of the Dot perks, and you can pick up downed allies twice as fast, and your entire team's bleed out time is increased by 25%. This, along with this one up the top there, really can help out on one person's build in order to keep your team alive and to make sure that you're not going to wipe on those later difficulty settings. Jumping up to the right here, and we've got Rapid Deployment. This is a gunner perk and it is a really nice easy one to put on, and it does exactly what it says on the tin, increases the recharge speed of an ability by 20%. It gives you a little bit more bang for your buck than the normal recharge ones, I believe it's by about 2%, so anytime you can use these specific ones in place of them, it is well worth having, just to make things a little bit easier and you'll build a little bit better overall. Next up, and we've got batteries included. This right here is a Phalanx perk, and again it can really help a build if you're trying to focus more on your skills. Increase the recharge speed of an ability by 20%. It may not sound amazing, but anytime you can get any little increments to your recharge speed or anything such as that really helps out your build and really makes things a lot easier further down the line. Just over to the right here, and we've got the long haul. Again, increase the duration of an ability by 20%. You've got a little bit extra on this, it works really well. If you're after making sure the duration of your ability is a little bit higher, this may be the one for you. This one is unlocked as part of the Recon's perks. Now next up, and this may just be down to my playstyle, but I feel these three really work well together. I did want to keep this to a top 10 list, but I thought these three have to be shown because of how good they actually are. So the Recon rifle training. This right here increases the max ammo of rifles by 20% and their weak point damage by 15%. Just absolutely amazing, gives you a bit of extra ammo, gives you weak point damage, exactly what you'll want on any build. Now obviously not everyone uses rifles, but this is just showing you if you do use a rifle, this may well be worth looking into, because I believe you can get the most weak point damage extra on top of them through these perks. Also 4 out of the 6 classes use rifles, so there's a good chance that you probably will be. If not, you may want to change these up for something else. I believe you can get 2 weak point damage ones on the handguns. Jumping over to the left, and we've got Gunner Rifle Mastery. Increase the weak point damage and accuracy of rifles by 15%. So again, now you've got 30% extra weak point, and you've got a little bit of extra accuracy and a little bit extra ammo. Everything you'll want to go into a build is between these two right here. But we've also got a third, and as far as I'm aware, the rifle is the only one that actually has 3 that goes into this, all with weak point. So bopping over to here, we've got Doc Rifle Expertise. Increase the stability and weak point damage of rifles by 15%. Putting all these 3 into a build, if you are a class that can use rifle, really helps you to just net extra damage. Obviously you don't have to use them, you may not even be able to use them, but if you are using a rifle, you'll definitely probably want at least one of these. Having all 3 of them will net you a lot of extra damage. As long as you can manage to put them into your perks grid, I'd definitely give it a whirl, and then work out what class specific ones you want to bop around it. So yeah, I find these are probably the best ones overall for the universal perks. Chuck a few of them into your build, whichever ones you find nicest, whichever ones you feel will help best. This one right here would definitely be one I'd suggest down and that, and of course if you're using a rifle, maybe bopping all these 3 in will just net you that extra bit of damage. But as always, play to your own playstyle, muck around with your build, see what you enjoy playing with. Well, you gamers, I hope that's helped a few of you out. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care, I'll see you on the next day.